What's good, YouTube? Warstorm here, coming at you guys in another video. Today I'm going to be showing you my Branded Despia deck profile. So this is a deck I've been working on getting put together, and I'm finally glad to bring it to you guys. All the way, we'll go ahead and get into it. So first off, of course, Branded Despia, so we're playing 3 copies of our search guy, Aliber. Not too much to say there. Aliber is a great card. Then we're only playing the one Tragedy and one Ab Libitum. Tragedy, you don't really want to have more than one in your build if you're not playing things like Allure of Darkness that benefit off of banishing it. There obviously are things like Foolish Burial and Gold Sark that people play that can be, but at the same time, I do think Tragedy is one of nowadays. Particularly in this build where I'm not playing Allure of Darkness. And Ab Libitum is actually a really nice extender. It has a really nice, good interaction with Branded in red, because if it's sitting there in the graveyard or it's in your hand, you can activate Branded in red and then banish it, and then banish Mirror Jade that's on the board, and then bring the Mirror Jade right back. It's a really nice combo piece with some of the other cards in the deck. Then we are playing the one Albion, pretty standard Albion, because he works really well with the Bestial Saronir, because he can send a trap, or he can send a spell or trap, and then Saronir will send Retribution, which then recycle it. Really nice. Albion's just a really nice card to have in the deck. And it's a good search target for Branded and Lost. And 2 Fallen of Balbaz. I have seen some people playing 3, but you have such easy access to it with things like Fusion Deployment and whatnot. And you have a Rimbrum can grab it back from the graveyard. In a pinch, Lubellion can the Fusion Lubellion can put it back in the deck. I don't think you need 3. I think 2 is kind of the correct number with him. Then we have 1 copy of Blazing Cartesia. I'm not going to tell you not to play 2. I have 2 seems to be kind of the number I've seen in a lot of. I've seen anywhere from 1 to 2. Not going to tell you not to play 2. This is all I could get my hands on right now. But I do think 1 is fine if you don't want to drop the money for the second one. It is a Fusion Deployment target, so there's really easy to get out of the deck. It's also grabbable with Branded and Lost, or Branded Lost. So yeah, great card. Quick effect Poly. Gives you another way to Fusion Summon if your Branded Fusion gets stopped. It's a fusion material for Granganol, so obviously if you're playing Granganol, you have to have Cartesia. Then we have 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Mercurier. Much like with Tragedy, I think 1 is the correct number for Mercurier. In the build where you're not playing Allure, it's still a good target to search off of Branded and Lost, because you can add it and it's yet another disruption, and then when it's banished, it'll activate the other effect as well. It's just a really nice combo piece, but I don't think you need more than 1. Then we're playing a very slim Bestial package. We have 1 Saronir and 1 copy of the Bestial Lubellion, with Kashtira being the best deck, and with Tyr being hit, you don't need to play. You want to slim down your Bestial count as much as possible. I still think Bestial Lubellion is a really nice send off of Branded Fusion, because you send it and then it allows, and then you can have an Albion that's on the board and tribute it to summon Lubellion, and that gives you easy access to Branded in red, and it gets Branded Lost out of your deck as well. Saronir is mostly, it's picked this particular one because of its Grave effect. It has a similar effect to Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, in that it puts a Bestial Spell Trap in your graveyard, so you can send. So it has a really good interaction with those 2 cards. Work really well together, and I think there's not too much to say about those guys. If you don't have Bestial Lubellions, no big deal. I just think that it's a really nice combo send off. It's probably the best send off of Branded Fusion right now. We have 2 Edgent Chains. We are playing the Edgent pack. We're still playing the Patchwork package. I know a lot of people have been trimming it. I'm thinking about trimming it as well, but for now, it's in here. I think it's just nice to have additional ways to Fusion Summon, and it's also not necessarily a brick, because if you have a way, you have something like Cartesia, something like the Poly, or you discard it off of the Fusion Lubellion, it'll trigger its search, and you'll get you a Patchwork from your deck, which is really nice. Then we have 3 Ash Blossoms. Obviously, like with for the mirror match, but obviously it's probably the best all-around hand trap right now. And it stopped Branded Fusion, so not too much to say there. And the remaining monsters with 1 Orthos and 1 Dark Magician. Obviously this is here for Dragoon, and it's a fusion deployment target, so you can grab it from the deck, which is really nice. Orthos is, you should be playing the Gimmick Puppet if you're playing an expulsion target, but most of the 4 choices you have, it's the best one because you can send it off at Granganol. But Orthos is not terrible. It's definitely Gimmick Puppet at home because Live Twins can still do a lot of their combos underneath it. But in the Branded Mirror, for example, if you expulsion into Orthos, the best they can do is summon a fusion, summon the Despia Quartz, I think his name is, and that's all they can really summon because it's the only fiend they really play in their extra deck. So in the mirror, it's good. Obviously, Kashtira locks them out pretty well as well. But obviously, if you do have the Gimmick Puppet, I would play it. But I'm going to probably replace that with this. But for now, I think Orthos is fine. It's just what I had on here. Then we're moving on to the spells. We have 3 Branded Fusion and 3 Branded Opening. And for some of our one-of branded spells, we have 1 Branded Lost and 1 Branded in Red. This is a pretty standard lineup. Obviously, these are fantastic. Openings, Grave Protection is also good. I've noticed this happened at the regional. People are playing things like Lightning Storm, even Regeki and Darkhold to a lesser extent. So it's really nice to be able to just grab. And it's going to get better when we get Quem in the next set because this can grab it from the deck. Lost is obviously fantastic, and Rebellion, being able to get it out of your deck, gives you even more extension and recursion. So yeah, pretty standard lineup there for the branded spells. Then for the patchwork side, we of course the 2 polys. This is 2 patchworks, pretty standard stuff for the patchwork package. The 1 Called by the Grave. You have a clear bottleneck in this deck in form of Branded Fusion getting Ash Blossomed. I would like to try Cross Out Designator as well, maybe over the patchwork package, but I still think you want to have, when you have a deck that loses so hard to a popular hand trap and a card in the format, you need to have an answer, and that's what that is. Then we have 3 Fusion Deployment. Card is absolutely nuts. Most of the time you're going to be grabbing Cartesia with this, but you can also grab Fallen of Albaz. It's just a really nice card. It gets so much out. You can get so much out of this. Even grabbing a Dark Magician from your deck, and if you have a way to fusion summon and you have a dragon, you can go in Dragoon, no problem. It's really good extended card. And for the last spell, we have 3 copies of Super Polymer Station. I still think this card, you could definitely say it might be side deck material over main deck, but I personally find that the card is just, there's very few scenarios it would actually be bad. It's not a bad card to have in your hand going first because you can set it, and then it's additional disruption. And going second, it's obviously can be a blowout in some matchups. For example, if your opponent is playing Branded and you're in the mirror, you can Super Poly away their fusions to make your own. So it's, yeah, pretty strong. Then for the traps, we have two branded traps. I think it's pretty standard stuff. 1 Retribution, 1 Expulsion. Expulsion, not too much. This card is gross. Being able to like slap something on your opponent's board that prevents them from playing the game. You need to main deck this right now. It's going to win you too many games to not play it. And then Retribution, it's a good send off of both Serenir and Albion, being able to grab stuff back from your hand. So yeah. And for the last traps, we have 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Probably the best all around. Another kind of alongside Ash, it's the best all around hand trap. It's a little better against Kashtira because you can top deck it and imperm their Horizon Heart. It doesn't trigger the Kashtira effects. That's a big one. So if they have a Unicorn, for example, you can just drop the imperm on it and it doesn't trigger it. And it's also obviously a lot of the Kashtira boards are going Horizon Heart Pass. So imperm is a really good out for those situations. Moving on to the extra deck, we of course have these 2 for some of our branded stuff. We have the 2 Albion, the 2 Rebellion, and the 2 Mirror Jades. Pretty standard ratio for like your basic branded fusions. Then we have some of the remaining ones. We have the one Rimbrum, the one Granganol, and the one just Quartzis is here to grab off of Granganol's Grave Effect. I've seen some lists playing multiple Rimbrums and some other cards because of Mind Hacker, and you can. But personally, I think it's fine this way. It's most of the time, especially, and there's a lot of situations where if your opponent is Mind Hacker and you game one, you probably don't want to let them see your extra deck anyways. So yeah, I think it's a pretty standard lineup for your all boss stuff. Then for some of the remaining fusions, we have a Guardian Chimera. This obviously is the Branded in Red, your main Branded in Red target. The one Dragoon, this really helps with things like Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is insanely popular right now. It's non-targetable, so Keshira have a kind of a big hard time getting rid of it. And it works, it's really good in time as well, because if you use, obviously you're going to be using Dark Magician's material. So you go into Dragoon, pop one of their monster burns with 1,000. Pretty nice. The one Drago Stapelia, this is a really good, this can be anything from a really good Branded in Red target to just being an additional disruption. It's pretty easy to make in this deck. And for our Super Poly targets, we were playing the one Mud Dragon and the one Starving Venom. This could definitely be a Garura if you have it. But personally, I find, but these are probably some of the better Super Poly targets right now. I really like them. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys thought of this deck profile down in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. It's Warstorm signing.